morning, everybody. I'm just gonna wait for a couple to get in here. If you can smash that like button, it will let others know that we are now live, and we can start going over these documents that there were some that were filed, I believe, yesterday. So it's going to be a quick live, just going over what we have. Good morning, Corey. How are you this morning? I think it's a little early for people to be up. As people get the notification for the live, they will start coming in. Hello, Christine. Nice to see you. Good morning. Hello, Shadow of Lotus. Good morning. Nice to see you guys all here. I'm glad you're good, Corey. I'm just having my morning coffee, so you guys are going to be having your morning coffee with me this morning. Eyes are bad today, Christine. So there has been the official date set for this next scheduling hearing, they're calling it. For those of you who watched my live stream, hello, Annette. Oh, from Australia, welcome. Nice to see you. Kuranda, Australia. I would love to go to Australia. Hopefully the borders are all open again soon and this stuff is all under control so we can get back to some kind of normal. Okay, so, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Christine. So we've seen some stuff that was going on in the last live that I did when I covered the live court stream. And I've watched a couple of other videos that went over it. One being the lawyer, I keep forgetting his name, Scott. Hello, Tanya from Texas. Good morning. And he put out some interesting points too regarding, are these lawyers getting ready to bail because of them running out of money? That would be devastating because this would be put off even more. And good morning, Jake Troll, Lori, good morning. Hello. It would be devastating if they were to try and recuse himself. I don't think the judge would allow it, but the way this is going, you guys, like, there's other cases, high profile. I can't talk this morning, you guys. I haven't had my coffee. High profile cases that are out there that have gotten to trial within the year, like the George. Good morning, Tracy. The George Foreman one that's going on there. It's like going quickly. That's how things should go. But with all these motions and this and that, and trying to get Woods taken off the case, and then fighting over evidence and not getting it instead of going right to the prosecutor's office, all these court dates and and whatnot. And I agree with that lawyer, Scott, that this is, the judge does not have a handle on this case at all, at all. Good morning, Maggie. And it's getting to the point where it's getting, I've said this from the beginning, this has turned into a circus. And it's time for this judge to get a handle on this case, set a final date for motions, set the trial date, and that's it. That is it. No more of this back and forth and this and that. And I'm going to show you this morning what I'm talking about, because the next scheduling hearing that is now coming up, because the July 12th court date when this trial was supposed to start is now been vacated, and it's being delayed again. And this is getting ridiculous. Okay, the judge really needs to get a handle on his courtroom and his cases. I'm not so sure about the lawyers asking to be removed. They may, as money is probably running out, and I believe that these lawyers are sucking every dime that they can get out of Chad and Lori. But with that being said, as much as they deserve something like that, it's what it's going to do is it's going to put it into some kind of limbo where, okay, well, there's no more money to pay us, so we're not going to continue without being paid. So I don't think the judge will let them remove themselves from the case, because they were the ones that helped start this debacle, right? With all their stupid motions and the pettiness and everything else that's been going on in this trial. They have been part of that too. So I don't think the judge will allow them to remove themselves, but I think the state will have to take over in payment to them. Now, when that happens, good morning, Lisa. When that happens, the hammer is going to come down. It's because the state will not put up with this crap, right? And the judge shouldn't be either. He's almost like when John Pryor or Martin Mean says something, it's almost like he looks at them like a deer in the headlights type thing. And it's like, you need to put an end to this. You need to set a trial date. And I believe this trial date in July should continue. I don't think it should have been vacated. They've had more than enough time. This has been going on. The kids were missing since 2019. We're in 2021. I believe this court case should be absolutely going through on the 12th. That never should have been vacated. They've had more than enough time. The murder charges have not come yet, and I still do believe that there are murder charges coming. I believe this is one of the reasons why we're seeing some more movement on Chad's side, because I think that he's going to be nailed with the murder of his wife too, as well as the children. So as a lawyer like John Pryor, he knows those charges are coming, but they have not been laid yet. So you have to deal with what you've got in front of you right now. Never mind these murder charges that are possibly coming, which I believe they are. Deal with what you're dealing with now. And if you can't handle it, then you better hire somebody else on to help with your case and stop wasting not only your client's money, but the court's time and the money of the state also. So, I mean, like I said, this is just as much, I believe, as the judge's fault that he hasn't got a handle on his own cases and his own courtroom and put a stop to this. There should have been a final date for filings, for motions or anything else well before this trial. That's it. That's all. Unless it's something very, very serious, it should have been already dealt with. So I think Pryor and Means both are setting this up to, there she is. Good morning, sis. I wasn't sure if I was going to go live with this or just do it, just put it in a video and then just post it, but I decided just to go live. So sorry for not, and I know you're busy in the morning. So, but anyway, but thank you for being here, sis. There's some problems that are going to come down the line once this case is done. And I believe that there's going to be some things said about the way all parties involved have handled this case. And like I said, this judge does not have a handle on his own courtroom. Like, you're the judge. put the hammer down. This, I would not have vacated the July 11th. That still gives them April, May, and June to go over whatever they need to go over. I would have set a date in June, nearing the end of June, final motions. That's it. That's it. And the court case should have went through on July. Now they're looking into the end of fall, maybe even into 2022. This is ridiculous. And what I think Pryor and them are trying to do is force the prosecution's hand to lay these charges so they can get them all together, and then whatever, these defense attorneys are going to say, oh, we can't do that because they don't have the money for that, so we're off the case now. Like, they're looking like total idiots. Yeah, kindergarten, well, I call it the circus, but same thing, yes. So I'm going to share with you, and this is an example. Now, I believe John Pryor knows what's coming. Mark Means is kind of still sitting a little pretty because I don't think they have enough to nail Lori right now for the murders. They have to have a lot of evidence for that, and they get one shot. So I think they have enough to file against Chad, but I think they want the prosecution is wanting this trial, and I've said this from the beginning, you guys. They want this trial to get going and go through so they can use things that they find in this trial as evidence against Lori to nail her too. Okay, and Lori also still has another trial coming up in August for not producing the kids, and those charges she's still facing, and nothing has moved in that case. The trial date has been set, and there's been no circus in that aspect of her. Excuse me. So I think it's John Pryor playing games here, and I'm going to show you why. Oh. Let me know, you guys, when I start this, if you guys can hear me, because I'm going to share my audio. There's no audio on this, but okay, I'm not going to share the audio. Let me know if you can hear me when I bring this up. Okay, can you guys see what I've got up? And can you hear me? Press 1, please. Yes, please smash that like button, you guys. It's free. Okay, can you hear me? Just press 1 if you can hear me. Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to go back to, this is September. Okay, September 1st, this was filed. And this is when Rob Wood filed for the, as you can see right here, he filed for the motion for joinder. Okay. So the state of Idaho, by and through Madison County Prosecutor's Office, which has been appointed as special prosecutor. Okay, so we've gone over this before. This is when Rob Wood filed to join Lori and Chad trial. Okay, as you can see up here. Oops, right there. It was done in September 1st. Okay, now also September 1st, this is the memo, okay, in support for the motion, where this is filed again by Rob Wood. And the statement of facts that the defendant Lori Vallow and Daybell, hereafter called Lori Daybell, was charged on June 29th. They go into her charges, and then the co-defendant Chad was charged with 2 counts of destruction, alteration, concealment of evidence, and a felony in violation of Idaho Code 18-2603. Excuse me. 2 counts of conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, a felony Okay, so what he's saying here are the charges in both cases are based on actions alleged to have occurred between September 8th and June 9th. September 8th, 2019 and June 9th, 2020. Okay, so he goes in to say, and involved the willful destruction, alteration, and or concealment of dead bodies to cover up the commission of a felony. Specifically, the charges relate to the discovery of Lori Daybell's minor children's bodies on her husband Chad Daybell's property and Lori Daybell's alleged conspiracy with Chad Daybell and others, including but not necessarily limited to her brother Alex Cox, now deceased, in committing those acts. So you can see here, okay, that they are kind of saying like these people are all involved with not only the murder but covering it up. Okay, so a preliminary hearing was held in the Chad Daybell case on August 3rd and 4th, 2020. At the conclusion of the preliminary hearing, Chad Daybell was bound over to answer to the district court. Lori Daybell waived her preliminary hearing and was scheduled to be heard August 10th to 11th, 2020. Okay, so this is when they were still separated. The cases were still separated. So what Rob Wood had said was that they are going to use the same evidence, you know, same criminal procedures and all this, so they wanted to join the trials, okay? So on September 9th, okay, John Pryor objected to the motion to join the trials. Now, with John Pryor objecting for the joinder, okay, comes now John Pryor, counsel for the defendant, in response to the plaintiff's motion, which he's not a plaintiff. They're the prosecutor, they're the state, right? It should be the state's motion. To join this case with State versus Lori Vallow, defense asserts that the overwhelming amount of local media coverage makes it impossible for Mr. Daybell to receive a fair trial in the eastern Idaho area. Joining the cases combines the coverage of both defendants' local media as well as national media and only adds to the level of attention and knowledge prospective jurors would have in this case. This is particularly true in all of eastern Idaho, where the media coverage and local attention is at an extremely high level. The joinder would only add more attention, more bias to a case that has grasped the attention almost everywhere in eastern Idaho. Well, no, not just me, Sarah. This has gone worldwide. Joinder would be extremely prejudicial to Mr. Daybell and his right to present his defense. Okay, so John Pryor objected. Now you can see here, Mark Means had no objection. Comes now the defendant, Lori Vallow, aka Lori Noreen Daybell, and provides the notice that she does not object to the motion for joinder filed by the plaintiff. It's not the plaintiff, it's the state of Idaho, on or about September 1st, 2020. Okay, so November 4th, okay, it was ordered that the trials were going to be joined. Okay, so I just went over this, you guys, for those who did not see this when I went over it. So the judge ordered that the trials be joined on the charges when they found the bodies of the children, and the evidence that they're going to present against each of them is going to be the same. So they didn't want to have two trials, two different trial dates, because they were going to use the same evidence. So the judge ordered the joinder. Well, comes now that the last court hearing that happened a couple days ago, both Mark Means and John Pryor are now asking that this is not joined. There are more motions now. Okay, so the last hearing is when the April, sorry, let me just get my dates right here, you guys. There was supposed to be, okay, there was supposed to be a pretrial in this case held June 2nd. That was vacated. And the trial was supposed to start on July 12th. That has been vacated. Also, what is also being brought up again is John Pryor also vacated the motion to dismiss and the motion to change venue. That was done about a month ago. He vacated that. Don't need the hearing now. We're just going to go ahead. You're confused. Yourself are confused. I'm so confused, Darlene, D. Keller, because, well, it should be saying the state instead of the plaintiff, as far as I'm concerned, to show the respect. As far as I'm concerned, that's how it is here in Canada. So please forgive me if I'm taking a little bit of an offense to them saying plaintiff, because I believe you should show, as any lawyer or anything should show, the state respect. It's a respect thing, but to each their own. I know in Canada that's how we do it. But anyway, getting back to this. Now I forget where I was. Yeah, so now John Pryor had vacated the motion to dismiss, where they wanted all the charges dismissed, and he vacated the motions hearing for the change of venue. Well, now they want it back. Not only now is the pretrial vacated. Yes, plaintiff is usually used in civil matters, family matters, stuff like that. Not only have, I'm getting all confused now because I'm being thrown off track here with this. I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee. So not only did they waste court's time setting up a motions hearing for a change of venue and to dismiss the charges, they had originally set a motions hearing for that. Just before it was set to happen, they vacated it, and now they want it back again. So this is, they went through all this crap to get the trials joined, and now they're asking for the trials to be severed. So now, not only is the pretrial been vacated, the actual trial date, the 3 weeks that were set aside in July, has also been vacated, which I think is wrong. The judge should have grabbed a hold of this and said, no, you still got all of April, May, and June to get your crap together. The 30 things you got to go over with the state, the prosecutor's office, go over them. You've got 3 months. But he didn't do that. He vacated it for them. And then the judge went on to say that he's pretty full right until the end of fall. So this may not go until November, December, maybe even into next year, which is ridiculous. Like I said, the judge does not have a handle on this case. He's being dictated as to what to do by defense attorneys. That one just doesn't seem on the ball at all, and the other one seems to be playing with puppet strings and pulling everything along a fine line that he can pull. And the judge needs to reverse his decision and keep this set for the 3 weeks that it was set for. Like, I believe that this is gone overboard. Okay, so now did they not only waste time joining this trial and the big fight and motions hearings to join this trial and waste court's time and the defendant's money and everything with their lawyers, which I really don't care about, but I'm speaking legal wise, wasted their money, wasted the court's time and the court's money and everything else to join this, just now to now have another hearing to sever it again, where it was severed in the first place and they should have left it be. I said that way back then, and I'm saying it now. Again, they had a motions hearing set for a dismissal of all the charges and for a change of venue. That was set aside, again, wasting court's time, wasting money, everything. to set up this motion and then set the motion date. They had time put aside just before it was vacated by the defense. And now the defense wants those 2 hearings again. So now they wasted more court time talking in court and everything else, saying, okay, now we want the motions to dismiss. We want the motions hearing again to change a venue. And we want a motions hearing to sever. It's like, there's so much time wasted. Rosie, I agree. I'm speaking more along the lines of the time and money and court time and prolonging this trial. I don't care if they rot for the rest of their life. What I'm saying is the family that loves JJ and Tylee, and JJ and Tylee deserve justice and speedy justice. So, and they're not only wasting the defendant's money, which I really don't care about, but it's the point of it, and it's the law, the legal issue of that. Wasting their money, wasting the court's time and the state's money, and wasting court dates, times. Like, people are waiting for trials. They've set aside time for these stupid bickering back and forth and motions where other people could have had their cases heard and done and over with. They're wasting time, and the judge should put a stop to it, and he's not. To me, it's not right, and it should be looked at. Grab a hold of your case and grab a hold of your courtroom, and I'm going to say it. I've kept my mouth shut so far, but when things come up, the judge even looks like a deer in headlights. Like, huh? What? Like, I'm not saying the judge is stupid, but he's letting this go where he shouldn't. He's letting the defense dictate to him what he's going to do in his courtroom. No, put a stop to it. Set a final date for motions hearings and keep this court dated July 12th, because that still gives them 3 months to go over anything more that they have to do. Like, I'm so peeved at this. So everything's vacated now, so we're back to square one. And you know what we're back to here? You see this order for joinder that they wasted all this time on? Well, now they want a hearing, and that hearing date, here it is. Okay, so here it is. It's a scheduling conference. Okay, so this scheduling conference is going to be to hear the motion to sever, the motions to sever. So that means they want to split the trials again, which they had in the first place, that they just should have left the hell alone. So there's going to be a motion to sever. There's going to be a motion to dismiss. There's going to be a motions to change venue, and there's going to be a new set date for pre-trial and trial, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. And this is set for June 9th. Okay, you had June 2nd set aside for a pre-trial. A pre-trial lasts, I would give it at least a half a day. I would say a full day, but the judge actually had scheduled something else in there too, thinking that this pre-trial wouldn't go very long. Okay, well, let's get this over and done with June 2nd. You had the time set aside already for a pre-trial for Lori and Chad. Deal with all this crap on June 2nd. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, well, I've got something else that I promised that day too. Well, the time that you had set aside, Your Honor, for Lori and Chad for that day for a pre-trial, get these motions done. But no, it's put off till the 9th. And that's when everything is going to be scheduled. So it's like, are you guys kidding me? Okay, so this is the notice on the scheduling conference that was sent to Lori. As you can see, blah, blah, blah. It's just 2 pages, because there's the date and the certificate of service. That was, this is, I hate when court documents are filed wrong. Here it's saying that she was emailed for it, but over here they said by fax. Excuse me, it should have been here. This should have been checked by email. Okay, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so that's the only thing that was filed for Lori. It is, Pauline. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. This judge does not have a grip on his own courtroom. Yeah, and that's another thing. The date that they have set aside is the date that the kids' bodies were found. So it's ridiculous. So this was what was sent out to Lori for this scheduling conference. What I find interesting is this. Here's the one that was sent out to Chad. Okay, it's the same thing, scheduling conference. Okay, this is exactly what Lori was sent, but there is a whole page here that's been redacted. You can tell by the marks here and that. There is a whole page here that's been redacted. And then here's a certificate certificate of service. And you'll notice here, it says by email and by personal delivery. So I believe that there has been some documents that were also given by personal delivery, and there was some by email, but I still feel that because they have email here, that it should have been this one that was X'd instead of down here. The only reason I could see this being done like this, and I think there should have been another certificate of service for it, if there was other documents that were sent to him, but by the looks of it, there's something here that was redacted. So that's that, you guys. I just don't get it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna close this out. There we go. I don't get it. To me, it's like this judge does not have a grasp on his own courtroom. And I feel, you guys, I've got a feeling that this is going to go and be kept being pushed over into next year. Now, I watched Des. Yes, I did see the one that you had sent me, and I checked it out, and I went over what Scott Reish had said. And he's a lawyer that, you know, gives his take on stuff. And I'm kind of up in the air about, like he said, that he thinks too that the money's running out, and that John Pryor may be saying, okay, I want off this case. Like I'm not getting paid. I do not think at this point, well, I don't know with this judge, because I'm starting to lose a little bit of respect for him. And I don't like saying that, but I am, because he's not taking control of his own courtroom and taking control of the case. But I don't think the judge is going to allow that, because of, look at this now. You know what I mean? This is going on since 2019. We're into 2021. I don't think he's going to do that. What I think is he's going to say the state's going to pay you. That's what I think, because I don't think they are going to allow that to happen, because there's just too much to go over and too much to do in this case that would send it into a couple years down the line. Exactly, Rosie. Innocent until proven broke. So I do not believe, though, that the judge, if the judge does things right, I do not believe he's going to allow him to recuse himself. I believe that the state may kick in and start paying. And then if that happens, the state is not going to allow this crap. Okay? Because you don't get paid the same amount that you would get paid by an individual. The state, well, I don't know in the States, but I know in Canada, if you're represented by legal aid, if legal aid is footing the bill for your lawyer, legal aid doesn't pay the full amount that the lawyers charge if they're charging an individual. They're not. They're set. There's a set payment schedule that legal aid pays. So if a lawyer charges $700 an hour, that's not what legal aid is going to pay. Legal aid will pay like half of that. So it kind of puts the defense attorneys in a position where they're not willing now to do petty crap and go to court and everything else, because they're not going to get that $700 an hour. They're only going to, legal aid's only going to pay them half of that. So it kind of forces them to be very selective on what, you know, they choose to go to court on and this and that. So yeah, see, whereas if you have an individual that's paying you, you can get your full amount that you charge. So, you know, that's another thing. So that's what I think is going to end up happening. And I think John Pryor will fight that, saying, you know, like, I'm not doing it for that price. But I mean, I don't think he's going to have much of a choice because the state can order him to continue. But I think that Chad is going to have a very peeved off lawyer. So if that is to happen, that's what I think will happen there with that. If they say, look, they've run out of money, that's what I think is going to happen. I think the legal aid system, whatever that is in the US, will kick in. Yeah, see, I don't know the charges and how they do it in the States. I only know how it runs in Canada. So, so what do you guys think regarding this? Look at the trials were already separate. Prosecutor Rob Wood fought to have them joined, and now they're going now again to sever them. Like, what a waste. What do you guys think? And then they vacated the change of venue and motion to dismiss. Now they want another motions date set for that after vacating the last one that they already had set. I think that they're just, I don't know. I have pretty strong opinions on it. A criminal trial. I told you I can't speak yet. A criminal trial can cost around $100,000 and upwards. Yes, I agree, Missy. Like I've said, and welcome, Missy. I didn't see you come in. Sorry. Thanks for being here. Someone has stated that Chad is using his home to pay attorney. Well, don't forget, he got that insurance money too, right? For when Tammy died. Didn't he get a big chunk of money? And didn't, I would assume, because Tylee was gone, the money that Tylee got in trust, coming up on her 18th or 19th birthday, she would have been entitled to that. I think Lori got that money now. So if you're saying a criminal trial can cost upward to $100,000, they've got more than enough between the two of them. And yes, this judge does not have a grasp on his own courtroom and it's more or less it looks like the defendant's attorneys are ruling what's going on and how it's going on and the timing and everything else, when that should not be. The judge should be putting an end to it. The July 12th trial date to start is still 3 months away. If you can't take care of what you've got to take care of in 3 months, then there's something wrong. Hire help. Maggie, they've had a long time to prepare for this. And it's not even murder charges yet. Okay? They have had more than enough time. And if they hadn't have been fighting to get Woods off the case, and then fighting this new attorney that's coming in and fighting amongst themselves, this trial would have already started. And like I said, Woods called in somebody else to help, and that's what Pryor and Means should have done. If they can't, they knew what was involved in this trial when they took it. So if they couldn't handle it, then they shouldn't have taken the case. And now that they have taken the case, then you better hire help. Like, I'm not a judge or anything, but I've never seen something like this happen, where the defense is pretty much running the courtroom instead of the judge. Means is just sitting back. Oh yeah, I have no problem. Means didn't have any objections to most of what, you know, regarding joinder and everything else. He just went along with everything. It was John Pryor that was fighting it. He didn't want it joined. Mark Means said he didn't care. So and like I said, way back then, one of them, and I believed it was going to be, I still believe Lori is going to flip on Chad. But I think once Chad is nailed with murder charges, he's going to start spilling the beans too. Yeah, see, Sally Holden. Yes, Sally, I agree with the murder charges, but they haven't been laid yet. So they shouldn't even be dealing with that yet because they haven't been laid. They should be getting this case done and over with first. I don't think Lori could spend that money because Tylee wasn't going to get that until she turned 18 or 19. And when she was killed, she hadn't turned 18 or 19 yet. And that's why I believe she was killed, was for that money. Yes, I think they're going to hit. I don't think, Stacy, that the charges have been laid yet. I think they're sitting on the prosecutor's office desk and they're waiting. I think the prosecuting office, Rob Wood, I'm going to say Wood, wants these charges dealt with first because he's going to gain a lot of intel through these charges and through the trial. And that's going to help in the murder charges. It's all going to be circumstantial, you guys. So they have the bodies. Now, I don't know what kind of evidence they could get from Tylee's, but I do believe that there was evidence there too because she was burned, right? But JJ wasn't burned. So I believe that there's going to be a lot of evidence there that they've got. And I believe that they want this trial here to go through so they can gain more circumstantial that they can use in the murder charges. Don't forget, they get one chance to lay the murder charges and that's it. So they want to make sure they got every little piece that they can have before they lay these murder charges. And I think what Means and Pryor are doing are they prolonging and prolonging and prolonging because they know that. You know what I mean? So Rob Wood is fighting to get this going. Let's go, let's go, let's go, because he wants to get every little tidbit that he can before he lays these murder charges. And the prosecution, the defendants, I believe, have caught on to this. That's why they're delaying it, and they're trying to force Rob Wood to lay the murder charges. So everything's grouped together. That's exact, and I've been saying this, you guys, for the last 6 to 7 months. I've been saying that, and what's going on now is just proving what I thought in the beginning as to be correct. So I think there's a lot of things in play. I do believe that that's what's going on, and I believe they have more than enough to nail Chad for Tammy and the children's deaths, but they need that little bit more to get Lori too, and that's what Rob Wood wants to get out of this trial before he lays the charges. And then he wants to nail them both at the same time and see which one is going to come to him first. And that's who's going to get the better deal. So that's my opinion. That's been my opinion since last year when these charges were laid. Everybody kept saying, well, if that was the case, the murder charges would have been laid. No, a lot of this is going to be circumstantial. So they need every little tidbit that they can get. When you got a circumstantial case, you want every little bit that you can get. And that's what I think Rob Wood is waiting for, is this trial to go through so he can see what else he can get to lay these murder charges and get them to stick and get a guilty verdict. You want every little piece that you can get, no matter how small, because that's just one more piece to the puzzle. And what I think is going to happen is he's going to lay them both at the same time, and he's going to see which one comes to him first. And that's who's going to get the better deal. I mean, let me know what you guys think regarding that. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Yes, Stacy, you make a good point right here. They have to get Alex linked to Chad, which they already have with the text messages, right? And the phone pings. Now, Alex is dead. So, could they be trying to see if that was actually Lori with Alex's phone? Or did Lori leave her phone at home? Like, there's so many different scenarios that could be going on behind the scenes, right? They haven't really said much about Lori's phone. If you go back into what's been put out there, they really have said zero about Lori's phone. They are letting Lori sit pretty right now, in a way. She does still have the same charges right now as Chad, plus she still has another trial starting in August for the original charges that she was charged with. But I think they're letting Lori get a little comfortable when it comes to the murder charges. There's reasons for that, you guys. They have not said a thing about Lori's pings. And don't think for 1 minute, just because they haven't said anything, that those aren't an issue, because they are. There's a reason why they're not saying anything about Lori's pings. And there's ways that they can put her pings, even if she was not at Chad's and she was pinging somewhere else. There's ways, I don't want to put it out there just again. I don't know who's listening to these, but there are ways that that could still be linked. Okay? Remember I said that, you guys. And I do believe that there are things there with Lori's pings. And Sally Holden says, I wonder, was Melanie Pawlowski involved? If they tried to kill her husband for insurance, she would have had to agree to share it. I think there's a lot involved. I think there's a lot more involved. And if you notice, there's not a lot that's being put out there regarding Lori. There's reasons for that, you guys. Okay, so Stacy says Chad has a reason to have a phone on his own property. Yes, but when you put together, Stacy, the pings from Chad's phone and the pings from Alex's phone when they believe the kids were burnt and buried, and then the text message when Alex was there, Alex pinged there at the same time, Chad's phone pinged at the exact same place when he sent a message to Tammy saying that he had shot a raccoon and it was now buried in their pet cemetery. Chad, yes, Chad has a reason to be on his own property, but Chad was at the exact same spot as that pet cemetery when that was buried. It wasn't a raccoon that was buried. I said that way back then. That was when they buried Tylee, burnt and buried. So that's how they're putting that together. The exact same time as Alex's pinged. The exact same time that Chad sent that message to Tammy, he sunk himself. Because that's when the apparent raccoon was shot and buried. No, that's when Tylee was burnt and buried. And they can prove that. So yes, he's on his own property, but where are you on the property, and with who, and with what were you doing at that exact ping? Technology has gotten so good. When your phone is pinging right beside Alex's at the same point, at the same time, when you're shooting a raccoon and burying it, and no raccoon was ever found. And that's when Tylee was buried and burnt. And then Chad is pinging again when Alex's phone is pinging over by the pond where JJ's body was found. And Chad is pinging at the same time. No, that's not coincidence. And these kids are Chad's stepchildren. Not at the time they weren't, but they were Lori's children who he was with, and Chad's, Alex's niece and nephew. And that's where they're found. I don't know about you, but if I was sitting on the jury, that would be more than enough for me. But everybody's entitled to their opinion. Some believe that he did shoot and kill a raccoon and bury it there. There's some supporters out there, believe me. And it's like, okay, well, where's the raccoon that he shot and buried? And then they have nothing to say. Where's the raccoon? A raccoon was never found. Dog's remains were found, but there was no raccoon found. That Chad texted Tammy that day at that time from that spot saying that he shot and killed a raccoon and buried it in the pet cemetery. So I do believe that Tylee was alive on that property. She was killed there. Just my opinion. Don't forget, I said that 6-7 months ago. I believe there's no way at that time of day that they could have parked their vehicle, carried Tylee. Tylee was almost an adult. Carry Tylee to that backyard, do what they did, burn her and bury her without being seen. I believe she walked to her own death. And I believe she was killed in that shed, that big red shed in the backyard. I think Tammy found out, Missy. I think Tammy was at work when it happened, but I believe at some point she found out, and that's why they had to kill her. Yes, the text to Laura Pender, the text to Tammy, yes, did seal Chad's fate. Would it be odd for somebody to shoot a raccoon and bury it? No. But what's odd is you send a message saying you shot a raccoon and you buried it in your pet cemetery, but no raccoon was ever found. So, yep, he sealed his fate there. Yes, and if you go back to my very first reading on this, that fire comes out. Okay, that there was some kind of fire. My very first reading. You have to scroll right back to the very first reading that I did on JJ and Tylee, and it came out in there about the fire. And at that point, I thought it was the only thing that I was being really drawn to was JJ. So I'm believing now, I did go back and look at that reading. It was like there was JJ and an angel in there also, and I believe that that's when it was being planned for JJ, and I believe the fire now represented Tylee being burned. And the neighbors, I believe, did say something about some odd fires happening. So I believe that's why the neighbor card came out in that the neighbors did see a fire going on and thought it was odd. And that did come out not long ago about this neighbor that came out and said that, yeah, there was some fires and we found it odd. Yeah, I think he would have still, I think if I could never shoot or kill an animal of any kind, but somebody like Chad, I believe he still would have buried it. because you wouldn't want that rotting smell. You know what I mean? So I think he still would have buried it. But would he have buried a pest in their pet cemetery? I think not. Not with their beloved animals. I think it would have been buried on the edge of his property somewhere else, far away from the house or where they would ever sit, because they wouldn't want to smell it, right? Ooh, good point, Stacy. Could that have happened? Maybe. Maybe. Good point, Stacy. Yes, Missy. That was Tammy's reply to Chad's message to her when he said he shot and killed this raccoon. Because Tammy was an animal advocate, right? An animal lover. So yes, and she did. She said, good for you. It's like she was disgusted. And yes, it's like, there's so much here, you guys, that I mean, and they've had this last year to go over everything that was, presented to them and whatnot. And they still have 3 more months. I just don't get it why this judge allowed this trial to be vacated. I just don't think it's right. And I don't think the judge has a grasp on his own courtroom and his own cases. So, I mean, everybody's going to think differently. Some are going to say, oh, give them more time, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it should have been given. But what can we do, right? But as much as people are making fun of Mark Means, I think this judge is going to start being made fun of because he doesn't have a grasp on his own courtroom. And it's, I don't know. I don't know. But if he allows Pryor and Means to go off the case because they've run out of money, this starts all over again, because now new lawyers appointed by the state are going to have to need all kinds of time to go over everything again. You know what I mean? It's like, I just can't see that happening. Yeah, I agree too. I think Tammy was made aware or somehow found out about the affair, and possibly even, finding out that, or having some kind of feelings regarding this shooting of a raccoon and burying it in the pet cemetery. Like, why would you put it with your beloved pets? You know what I mean? I think she started, and then, I don't know, but I believe she found out something. Yes, Charles, like if they would have taken Charles seriously, it's actually, Christine says it's actually all a very evil, twisted story. It is. And I don't think anything that comes out next would shock me at all. But I think there is a lot more coming out. Like, I can pretty much pick up on a lot of it, but not all of it. Yeah, if they're appointed new attorneys, it's right back to the beginning, right back to these new lawyers would need mega time to go over everything all over again. And then they would have their own motions and this. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? This is why I think that if this judge allows them to recuse themselves, it's like, I would be, everybody should be in an uproar and starting some kind of movement to have this judge removed, because that would just be the worst. Laura Pender says, didn't Lori say Adam was out to kill her? I don't know. I don't think I heard that. Is that out there? Did somebody hear that? Did anybody else hear that? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Lori said something like that. But yeah, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And I believe that this trial should be going through on July 12th. I believe it should be going through. Like, this all came about starting in like August, September 2019. It's going to be a year. It's been a year. It's been over a year from the beginning of this. It's going to be 2 years in August. Like, enough is enough. I agree, Des. Okay, so yes, Lori said that to the police during the welfare check. Oh, wow. See, I didn't hear about that, so thank you for sharing that. Okay, so Des says she said her other brother Adam was trying to kill her and Alex was her protector. Oh, wow. I didn't hear that. Police mental village. Charles found out about his life insurance and changed the policy. Yes, I knew about that. So yeah, okay, so quite a few, you've seen it. Yeah, I didn't know about that. So thank you guys for bringing that to my attention. And yes, they need justice. It's going to be coming on 2 years since this happened. Okay. And it's ridiculous. This needs to get going. Within 1 year with the George Floyd, I believe it is, he died, the police were charged, these cops were charged, and the trial's going on. You know, okay, this was a little bit more complicated. Okay, I get it. But does it need 2 years and now possibly going into the 3rd year? No. Enough is enough. This judge needs to put the gavel down, set a final motions hearing for sometime nearing the end of June, and get this trial going in July, like planned. No other charges have been added to this point. So they should have more than enough time. Do they know that murder charges are coming? Absolutely. But let's get through this trial first. And I think John Pryor is trying to force the prosecutor to lay those charges without getting more information, which would come out during this trial. That's exactly, you guys, what I think is John Pryor is trying to do. Sally, I have no idea regarding that. They got special prosecutors on this case already, so I that's why Smith was brought in. So I believe that they've got more than enough. I have faith that Wood and Smith can get a guilty plea. But what I think is going on is John Pryor is trying to force Wood's hand to get these murder charges laid. Rosie, that's what I think is happening right now. Is Wood wants this trial to be over and done with. Yes, it would be a separate trial. He wants these charges dealt with and the trial going through, and these charges that they're facing right now dealt with before he lays the murder charges. The reason for that, like I've stated for almost a year now, is because he can gain more information from this trial, more circumstantial evidence that he would gain from this trial that he could add in the murder trial, that he could use in the murder trial. Every little bit is going to help. That's why Wood wants this trial done with first, so he can gain all the information that he can get. Whereas I think Pryor and Means now know that the murder charges are coming. They've hinted at it. I've said that for a long time now, 6-7 months. I've been saying they're coming. Don't worry about it. They know what Woods is trying to do. And they don't want to give Wood the extra information that he would gain from this trial going through. He's trying to force Wood, lay your charges, bud. Lay your charges, and we're gonna Put it all into one trial. That's what the defense wants. But Wood is fighting back, and he's holding back. Okay, exactly, Stacy. That's what I've been saying for almost a year now. It locks in any information that Wood can get from this trial going through and being like an outcome happening from this trial once it's done. Anything that he gains in there is in black and white. It's in the record. They can't change their mind now. They can't change their testimony. I've been saying this for almost a year. That's what Wood wants. He needs just a little bit more to nail. I think he's already got Chad nailed for Tammy and the children. But they need a little bit more on Lori, and anything else that they can grab is bonus out of this trial. It seals what they say. It's on a court record. I've been saying this, you guys, for months. Now, John Pryor and Mark Means have got wind. You know, finally a light bulb went off in their head that this is what's going on. So now they're trying to force Wood by doing all these motions. And this is why I think Pryor and Means are doing what they're doing, is they're trying to put all these motions and keep putting it off and blah, 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 to try and force Wood to lay these murder charges that they know are coming. They want it all grouped together, so Woods doesn't have all this extra information that would come out in this trial alone. So they're both playing a way to, they're poking at each other. So I don't think that I don't think Wood is going to lay the murder charges. Those charges are sitting on his desk. And I don't think he's going to lay them charges unless they get the information that they've been searching for, which would be circumstantial. But I believe those charges have been sitting on Woods' desk for a long time. And they wanted to get this trial over and done with so they could get the information and get it. And I've been saying this, you guys, for like 6-7 months now. And Woods, Pryor and Means have finally caught on. This is what Woods is doing. So now they're doing all this stupid circus act with these motions and vacating and then wanting these hearings back and then vacating them and then wanting them again and then agreeing to joinder and now wanting to sever, vacating the change of venue. Now they want to change a venue. They're doing all this to force Woods' hand to lay the murder charges. So, and I don't think Woods is giving in. That's why Woods is just agreeing to all these vacates. He's just sitting back. Okay, whatever. It's not, they can't come back on the state now for lack of a speedy trial because it's them putting it off. The defense is the ones putting it off. So that means they can't come back on the state for not providing a speedy trial. So they can't use that in an appeal that they didn't get a speedy trial because the defense is the ones that are putting it off. Now, if it would be the prosecuting office putting it off and the state putting it off, then they could say, you know, my client didn't get their speedy trial. But because the defense is putting it off, Woods is just sitting back going, okay, gives me more time. But I do see Woods getting peeved off too because he just wants this over and done with and wants to get any information that he can from this trial so then he can lay his murder charges. But he's not going to do it. I don't see him doing it unless something really drastic happens where he either gets that little bit of circumstantial evidence somewhere else to nail Lori to, but I still don't see him wanting these two joined. You know what I mean? Like the charges that they're dealing with now, I don't think he would want that as part of the murder trial. I think he would still want those two trials separate. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I see what's going on. I've said this 7 months ago. I said when this went back in November, I said it never should have been severed or joined to begin with. It should have stayed severed. And that would have gave, yes, would it have taken up more court time? Yes. But that would have gave the defense a choice if they wanted to flip on each other, right? They would have felt more comfortable. So that's why I think John Pryor wanted it still separate. And Means just said, oh, yeah, okay, I'll join. I don't care. Because then he had Pryor helping him with this criminal trial that he's never done before in his life, right? So Means had no problem with it, because I think Means was made aware that, look at, like, they don't have the information that they need to nail Lori, but they do for Chad. Somebody's in his ear. Like, I'm sure he has other legal friends that are helping him. So somebody's gotten in his ear and said, just agree to it, because then you're going to have John Pryor fighting your battle too, right? Oh, it's just, it is. And that's why I started calling this a circus. And now I see a lot of other YouTubers are calling this a circus now too. So I think I started a trend there. But yes, so I don't know what's going to happen, you guys, but I do believe that this judge should take this case back into his own hands instead of letting the defense dictate how things are going to go. As far as, like I said, I'm concerned, they should have set the final motions hearings, end of story, for nearing the end of June, so they could have proceeded with this trial for the 3 weeks that were set in July. So I know John Pryor had said, yes, here too, Christine, here too. I'm just seeing some of your comments now. Vaseline would be the closest thing to makeup Lori can get, or Jolly Rancher candy. Yeah. And Missy says, yes, I did. Yes, I said this so long ago, you guys. I seen it coming. Seen it coming. Way back when. And that's a lot of my intuitive, you guys, too. Like I said, it's, I hate to push so hard on my narrative that I had, but, and even with the other YouTubers on here saying, no, well, look what's coming to fruition now. So Candalee says, hello, Candalee. I see Chad putting all the blame on Lori. I also heard Lori and Chad are no longer a pair. Not sure what's going on there. It's all hearsay. Yeah, there's a lot of hearsay back and forth. So there's I don't know. I don't know what to believe, but I believe that's why Wood wants to nail them both at the same time on murder charges and conspiracy to commit murder and whatnot, is because if he nails them both at the same time, lays the charges at the same time, then one of them is going to come to him first, right, with a deal. And I believe it'll be Lori giving up a lot too. I think they're going to flip on each other. They're going to point the fingers at each other. And they don't want the Childs joined with finger pointing going on. Yes, the Commonwealth has stricter laws, yes. Stacy B, me too. I just want justice for Tylee and JJ, for Charles, for Tammy, for everybody that was harmed by these two. There's going to, Stacy, there's going to be an appeal anyway. That's, especially in stuff like this, in murder trials, especially like this, there's an automatic appeal anyway. So there's going to be an appeal. No matter, this could go as perfect can go. There's still going to be an appeal. All murder charges with life sentences are always appealed regardless. The appeals are generally thrown out, but there's always an appeal filed. So yes, Christine says that's what I think will happen too, is they will blame each other. Yes, and it's going to be who comes to the prosecutor first wanting to make a deal is going to get the better deal. And I think it's going to be Lori that gets the better deal, because they got Chad nailed, for I believe, for Tammy and for the kids. So I believe Lori's going to get the better deal. Like, look at, you make this stick for, and you give us the information we need, and we'll put yours down to 2nd or 3rd degree murder, or we'll just get you on the conspiracy to commit murder instead of the actual murders. There's going to be a better deal, I believe. Not that she deserves it, but I believe, and don't forget, she has another trial coming up too, where she's going to get time. But I do believe that they are going to give, unless they can nail Lori too, because right now, you guys, I believe they have more than enough, and I've said this for almost a year now, they have more than enough for Chad. I believe they're looking for just a little bit more to try and nail Lori for conspiracy to commit murder and 1st degree murder. And she, you know, the position of authority and protection and everything else that she should have had over those kids is just disgusting. No, Rosie, anything that is life in prison is generally appealed. Death penalties too are always appealed, but and they go on for years and years and years and years and years and years. But anything with life in prison with no parole is going to be an automatic appeal. Stacy, my thoughts on that are, I truly believe that they don't have enough. I do believe they are still going to try and go forward with the murder charges on Lori, whether they gain anything or not. But that's going to be a bargaining chip. Now, don't forget, and as bad as this sounds, even if they make a deal with Lori for the conspiracy to commit murder and maybe lower it to 3rd degree murder or manslaughter or something like that, she's still going to get life. And if that seals both their fates, neither one of them are going to see the time of day again. Neither one of them. It's just, what do you want on your final page in life? Do you want a conspiracy to commit murder, or do you want a 1st degree murder on both your kids? You know what I mean? And yes, I do agree. She deserves the death penalty. So does Chad. But if this nails them and keeps them behind bars for the rest of their life, a deal with Lori, and I'm going to call it a deal with the devil, as long as she has no chance of ever getting out, well, prison, you know what I mean? Life in prison. Life is going to be in a prison, not a jail. So as long as she gets life and no chance of parole, never going to see the light of day again, never have a chance to harm somebody else again except for in prison, then I'm good. I'm good. Good morning, Mama Shan Chan. We're just getting ready to wrap up here. So, but yeah, as long as they never see the light of day again, I'm happy. And it's not just going to be guilty on one charge of 1st degree murder for Chad and everything else. It's going to be 3 for Chad and 3 conspiracy for Lori, with maybe a 2nd or 3rd degree murder thrown in there. I don't know. I don't know what kind of deal they would make with her, but it would still be that she's never going to get out. I don't think they will settle for anything less. And I wouldn't. So yeah, that's where my head's at, you guys. And it's been there for the last almost year now. And I hate to say it, but that's the intuitive. That's the intuitive. I knew it a year ago. And like I said, sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse having abilities, right? Hello, Lisa. Lisa says Lori is the most evil. She was able to have someone do her dirty work. Yep, I think she had a hand in it somewhere, Lisa. But you got to think, as much as we hate this woman and never want to see her face ever again, and she can die in prison, if that doing a deal with her still keeps her in prison the rest of her life, where she's going to die, if that seals the fate and makes sure that Chad does not walk on these charges, then I'm all for a deal, as long as they both never see the light of day again. Her mama, whoops, under the jail forever. And there's Mom Shan Chan saying good morning to everybody. No, I won't steer you wrong, for sure. And like I said, even though the U.S. law varies a lot from Canadian law, it's still very much the same too. So there's a lot of things that are similar. And I don't mind being corrected at all if I've said something that is not the way it's done in the U.S. I can't say how it's done in the U.S. because I don't know. But I know how it's done in Canada, and a lot of the laws are the same. But yeah, everything is on schedule in the universe as it should be. Well, things happen for a reason. I believe that, and I believe what's done in the dark comes to light. So, yes, please give me a thumbs up. It's much appreciated. It's free. Yes, I believe she is. And she is a big threat. A big threat. And like I said, as long as neither one of them see the light of day again, I'm happy with whatever the prosecution has to do to get that. And if it means making a deal with the devil, as long as that devil never walks out those doors of the jail except for in a wooden box, I'm good with it. As long as they both get life in prison and no parole, I don't care what they got to do to get it. Get it. Like hindsight's 2020, they say, right? Like you look back at all the people that died that were some way attached to Lori Vallow. And you know what, you guys, I'm going to throw it out there. I really wonder, is this Chad's first time being a part of something like this? Your first murders being 2 children? Right? I wasn't going to say it, you guys, but I think Lori knows if this is not his first go, I think Lori would know about it. I didn't want to put that out there, but I'm gonna, because I don't think it's his first rodeo. And Christine says, I think she is, even if she never physically did it, but I feel she helped with the children somehow. Exactly. And that's what I was saying. I think Tylee walked to her death. There's no way they could have hauled Tylee in there without being seen. I think it was done in that red shed. And I believe it was done to both children in that red shed. Yeah, I believe Alex was experienced too. But Alex isn't here, right? So, but I don't believe that this is Chad's first rodeo either. And I don't believe Alex died of this natural, whatever it was. I don't believe that for a minute. Because I think they were afraid that this was going to happen. And if Alex was alive, Alex could have put it all on Chad, right? Chad called me there. Chad called me there. Chad did it. Lori and Chad did it. They called me there. I was going to come forward. You know what I mean? One less hand in the pie. They're going to try and pin it on Alex. And Alex isn't here to defend himself. But they've got Chad there with Alex. And the pings at the exact location at the exact times as Alex. If you are present for something like that and it happened on your property, in your barn, I believe they've got evidence from the barn too that hasn't been released yet. And from around that barn, that red shed, that long red shed there, there's evidence there. Going down. Okay, just saw a nurse murdered her husband with eye drops in South Carolina. They found the poison in the system. She admitted poisoning him over 3 days with Visine. Whoa, this world's gone crazy, you guys. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that, Cat's Eye. Yes, and Candalee makes a good point too. We'll see what Zulema says. I'm not sure what I think of that body cam footage. I think she might have been somewhat part of, I don't know. I don't know how she fits in yet. Not sad, Sally. No, I don't think any of that was involved, Cat's Eye. I think his own sister did something, if you want my honest opinion. Yes. But what caused that? Right? What caused that, Christine? There's things that can be given that would cause that. I watch too many sci-fi movies. Oh, Cat's Eye. Yep, the world has gone crazy. So with that being said, you guys, that's about what I wanted to cover this morning. And we're just going to have to wait and see. But I'm kind of peeved at the AstraZeneca. Yeah, I won't take that one. But that wasn't available back then, so I don't think that was it. Malachite, a lot of people are saying different things. Yes, just like Joe Ryan. Just like Joe Ryan, okay? Who was connected with Joe Ryan, right? So I believe she had a hand in there somehow. It doesn't say malachite poisoning. So, but anyway, you guys, I wanted to bring that out. I was, yeah, I know, Rosie. I'm really irked, I could say, irked by this judge not taking. And
please unlock your device for this.
Please, Bixby, go away. I'm upset about the way the judge is letting this drag on. They say, John Pryor had said he has about 30 things he needs to go over. Okay, you got 3 months to do that with the prosecution. Or are you planning on filing 30 new motions? So I believe the judge should set a final motions hearing for June, or a couple motion hearings, final motion hearings in June, and get this trial going July 12th. As planned. They've already set 3 weeks aside, and now everybody's up in arms because now they're going to have to try and reschedule another time. The judge is busy right through fall. So now we're looking at the earliest November, December. who's not going to be available then, which is going to put this into 2022. No, no, no. Judge, you need to take control of your cases and your courtroom. End of story. That's my opinion. And the thing is, the judge is going to start being looked at like Means is. Are you incompetent? Take control of your courtroom and your cases. So anyway, with that being said, you guys, I want to thank you for joining me early this morning. Thank you, Des and Missy, for being here to mod. Thank you for all of you who have come in and gave this video a like. I appreciate it. It's free. Share this out where you can. I go over some pretty good points here, and maybe we can get some, you know, maybe some insights from other people regarding this and their thoughts on it. So yeah, share it out where you can. Give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And let's see what happens. The next time we're in court with these clowns is June 9th. And that is put up for a scheduling conference. And let's see what happens. Yes, everybody enjoy your weekend. And I will see you again on Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, for some more chit chat. See what comes up between then. See, I will be watching the court filings to see if anything else has been filed in all the cases that I'm following, and we can discuss it on Sunday and then do the mini reads. Okay, so until then, you guys, please stay safe. We are in total state of emergency again here in Ontario, Canada. So I'm not going out. We're not allowed. Everything is shut down except for grocery stores, pharmacies, doctor's appointments, stuff like that. We are under a strict state of emergency. So, and that's for the next month. So you guys are going to see a lot of this, a lot of me over the next month, because there's nothing else we can do but sit home. So until then, you guys, please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe, and see you again on Sunday. Bye-bye for now.